She stepped into the fitting room wearing her usual gray sweater, simple, safe, familiar. At 67, she carried herself with grace, but there was something in her eyes, a kind of quiet resignation. She looked at me and said softly, "Every morning I look in the mirror and I don't recognize myself anymore." We didn't change her hair. We didn't put on makeup. We simply draped a soft turquoise scarf around her shoulders. She looked at her reflection, paused. And then she cried, not because she looked younger, but because for the first time in years, she saw herself again. As we get older, so much begins to shift. Our skin tone softens, our hair turns silver. Our eyes lose that spark, not because it's gone, but because the world around us isn't lighting us up the way it used to. And that's where color comes in, not just as a style choice, but as a way to bring you back to you. Over the past 15 years, I've worked with so many incredible women in their 60s, 70s, and beyond. And I've learned that you don't need to chase youth. You just need colors that speak to who you are today, not louder but warmer. Not younger but more you. In this video, I'm going to share 8 powerful colors that can help you feel more vibrant, more confident without surgery, without heavy makeup, and without pretending to be 30 again. Because sometimes all it takes is the right blouse, the right scarf, the right shade near your face, and you'll look in the mirror and finally say, "There I am." This isn't just fashion, it's a journey back to the woman you still are and always have been. Color 1, soft turquoise, quiet yet radiant. There's a color that makes everyone feel calm the moment you walk into the room. It's not bold like red, it's not dramatic like black, and it's certainly not flashy like gold. But somehow when you wear it, something shifts. It doesn't sit on you, it lights you up. It's soft turquoise, a quiet, serene hue that feels like a deep breath for your entire presence. I remember one client, Ellen. She was 61, newly retired, with the most beautiful salt and pepper hair you could imagine. But her wardrobe, shades of gray, beige, and the occasional navy. When I asked why, she said, "I don't want to stand out anymore. At this age, I'd rather blend in." During one of our sessions, I gently draped a lightweight silk scarf in soft turquoise around her neck. Nothing fancy, just a whisper of color. She looked at herself in the mirror and went quiet for a few moments. Then she smiled and whispered, This reminds me of who I used to be when I'd walk barefoot on the beach just before sunset." And that's the magic of soft turquoise. It doesn't scream for attention. It doesn't try to compete. Instead, it casts a gentle light, softening fine lines, brightening your eyes, and giving your skin that subtle vacation glow we all secretly wish for. As we age, our skin tends to lose a bit of that natural rosiness and bounce. The colors we once loved can start to feel harsh or draining, but soft turquoise, it works like a soft focus filter. It reflects light upward, smooths the tone of your skin, and brings a cool freshness that feels effortless. It's especially beautiful against silver or white hair, enhancing those tones instead of dulling them. And if your skin tone leans neutral or warm, turquoise offers balance and clarity without overwhelming you. Now, if you're not ready to dive into a full turquoise outfit, that's okay. Start small. Try a linen blouse in soft turquoise paired with crisp white trousers. Drape a silk or cotton scarf near your collarbone, it'll instantly brighten your complexion. Or add a pair of turquoise earrings or a subtle pendant that catches just enough light. And one more thing, avoid pairing it with stark black, it dulls the color's calm energy. Instead, let turquoise shine next to soft grays, warm creams, or sand tones. That's where it sings. You don't need to dress loudly to be noticed. Sometimes, the quietest color in the room is the one that turns the most heads. It won't shave years off your age, but it might bring back the warmth in your smile. Not like someone trying to relive the past, but like someone fully present, calm, confident, and completely at ease in her own skin. And that, to me, is the most beautiful kind of elegance. Color 2, true red, not just bold but deeply you. I don't think red suits me anymore. It's something I've heard more times than I can count. It usually comes with a quiet smile or a little shrug, as if red were a chapter from the past. A color for bold decisions, late-night lipstick, and younger, louder versions of ourselves. But here's what I've learned. Red doesn't belong to the past. In fact, red might be even more powerful now than ever before. Take Anne, one of my longtime clients. She's 63, graceful, thoughtful, with that beautiful silver gray hair that looks like it belongs in a magazine. But she hadn't worn red in 2 decades. It feels too loud now, she told me. Still, during a styling session, I gently handed her a structured red blazer. She put it on, looked in the mirror, and paused. Then she smiled. A real, wide-eyed, almost teary smile. "I feel like I'm alive again, not just going through the motions," she whispered. That moment reminded me, true red doesn't overpower a woman, it reveals her. And here's the beautiful secret. When your hair has turned silver or salt and pepper, red looks even more elegant. The contrast becomes cleaner, the tones sharper, the skin brighter. What once might have felt too intense when you were younger now feels grounding, confident, self-assured. It's not about being bold, it's about being fully seen. True red, not orangey, not brick, not burgundy, but a clean, balanced red, is one of the most flattering colors for mature women. It energizes skin that's lost some of its natural glow. It defines facial features without harsh lines. And it draws the eye upward toward your expression, your presence, your light. If your undertones are cool or neutral, red plays especially well with you. And even if you're warm-toned, a slight shift toward poppy or tomato red can still work wonders. So how do you wear red in a way that feels elevated, not overwhelming? Here are a few of my favorite suggestions. Try a classic red blazer over a white blouse and camel or beige trousers. It's powerful yet polished. A silky red blouse tucked into high-waisted jeans or a flowy skirt instantly transforms a daytime outfit into something special. And of course, red lipstick. If you haven't worn one in a while, start with a soft berry or deep cherry in a satin finish. It should feel creamy, never dry or too shiny. Avoid orange reds if your skin leans cool. Oh, and one more styling tip, keep accessories simple. Let the red speak for itself. A pair of gold hoops or a delicate silver chain is all you need. Let the color lead. Because when a woman over 50 wears red, she's not trying to be someone else. She's not chasing youth. She's showing up fully, unapologetically, beautifully herself. Red isn't just a color, it's a return, a revival. A reminder that your presence is not only welcome, it's unforgettable. Color 3, Rose Pink, the color of gentle presence. Is pink still flattering after 50? It's a question that comes up more often than you'd think, usually with a smile, sometimes with a little uncertainty. Because let's be honest, many of us were told somewhere along the way that pink was only for the young. That it was too sweet, too girlish, too soft. But here's what I've learned. There's a version of pink that doesn't try to be cute. It doesn't shout. It simply shows up with grace, calm, confident, and quietly radiant. That's rose pink, and especially dusty rose. It's pink that's grown up, quieter, deeper, and somehow more honest. Dusty rose is the kind of color that flatters almost every woman I've ever worked with, especially those with silver, gray, or salt and pepper hair. It has just enough warmth to brighten the face and just enough softness to feel elegant, not overpowering. And as we get older, our skin naturally loses some of that healthy flush we used to take for granted, around the cheeks, lips, even the eyes. Dusty rose brings that color back. Not in a painted-on way, but in a you look well-rested and beautiful kind of way. I remember working with a client named Nora, 62, smart, stylish, but stuck in a wardrobe of blacks, browns, and grays. She wasn't sure about color anymore. We tried a dusty rose cardigan layered over a simple white linen dress, no makeup, no accessories. She looked at herself in the mirror, tilted her head, and said, "Did you put blush on me?" I smiled and shook my head. That's just the sweater, that's the power of this color. It lifts the skin, softens the jawline, warms the eyes. It creates an effortless glow without foundation, without shimmer, without even trying. If you're curious about adding rose pink or dusty rose to your wardrobe, here are a few easy ways to start. A lightweight cardigan in dusty rose, worn over a white blouse or oatmeal-colored top. It adds just enough contrast to make your skin pop while still feeling cozy and understated. A silk scarf in blush or rose tones tied loosely at the neck or draped over the shoulders. This draws gentle light up toward your face. A rose-toned lipstick, not too shiny, not too matte, just enough pigment to bring balance and softness. When it comes to pairing, rose pink loves neutrals, beige, soft gray, taupe, ivory. It also plays beautifully with denim for casual days or with pearl and silver accessories for a touch of quiet polish. The best part, this color doesn't try to make you look younger. It simply helps you look more like you, just a little more radiant, a little more open, and a whole lot more at ease. Because rose pink isn't about pretending. It's about showing up exactly as you are, with softness, with presence, and with the kind of beauty that never has to try too hard. Color 4, navy blue, effortless sophistication. Black used to be your go-to until one day you looked in the mirror and thought, why do I look so tired? It's a subtle shift. You're not doing anything wrong. But suddenly, the color that once made you feel polished and confident starts to feel a little too heavy. That's the day many women realize it's time to make room for something softer, something just as elegant but far more forgiving. That something is navy blue. I had a client named Deborah in her mid-60s. Her wardrobe was, in her words, almost entirely black, and for years it worked, until it didn't. She noticed that black near her face made her skin look dull. Her silver-gray hair lost its shine. And more than anything, she felt older, not in a graceful way, but in a tired one. So we tried something different. We replaced her daily black staples with navy, not neon, not pastel. Just classic understated navy. And her response, I feel lighter, brighter. And honestly, I don't look as worn out. That's the beauty of navy. It keeps everything you loved about black, the sophistication, the confidence, the structure, but trades the harshness for grace. It lets your skin breathe. It plays well with your natural features. And it brings out the soft shimmer in silver or salt and pepper hair like no other color can. While black can sometimes emphasize shadows and fine lines, navy reflects light more gently, giving your complexion a subtle lift. It doesn't flatten your face, it defines it with kindness. If you've been holding onto black as your safety net, try this instead. A navy blazer layered over a crisp white blouse with camel trousers. It's a timeless trio that never fails. Add a string of pearls or a blush-toned silk scarf near your collarbone, and you'll instantly soften your look without losing any sophistication. For more casual days, pair a navy knit top with light wash denim and a tan leather loafer, polished but relaxed. Navy is a quiet power color. It doesn't demand the spotlight. It simply supports you gracefully, effortlessly, and without noise. Because at this stage in life, you don't need to dress loud to be seen. You've earned the kind of presence that speaks for itself. And navy, it says exactly what you want it to. I'm strong, I'm composed, and I'm not trying too hard because I don't have to. Color 5, ivory, a mature white that glows with you. Bright white can make you look washed out, but ivory makes you glow. It's something many women discover the moment they try both colors side by side. Pure white, while crisp and clean, can sometimes feel a little too sharp against mature skin. It reflects light in all the wrong places, exaggerating shadows, flattening your natural warmth, and making you look more tired than you actually feel. But ivory is gentle. Ivory is graceful. Ivory feels like light coming from within, not bouncing off the surface, but warming your whole presence. I remember working with a client, Claudia, graceful, with silvery hair and cool-toned skin that had softened beautifully with age. She had brought in her favorite white blouse for a wardrobe refresh, but when we looked at her in the mirror, something wasn't working. Her eyes looked duller. Her skin seemed flatter. Why do I look more tired in this? She asked. It was the whiteness itself, too stark, too clinical. We swapped it for an ivory silk blouse and suddenly her whole face lit up. No makeup, no special lighting, just the right color. And she smiled and said, now this feels like me. That's the quiet beauty of ivory and cream. They have just a touch of warmth, peachy or golden undertones that bounce soft light back onto the face. They blur fine lines, even out the skin tone, and bring a calm, lifted effect to the entire upper body. If you've let go of wearing white because it feels too harsh now, try Ivory instead. It might be the most flattering neutral you've overlooked. And it's incredibly versatile. Here are a few of my favorite ways to wear it. A cream or ivory blouse paired with a denim skirt or linen trousers. Casual, clean, and refreshingly light. A hand-knit cream sweater in winter, cozy, refined, and perfect for softening the season's darker tones. And when you want to create an elegant, modern palette, pair Ivory with Camel, rose pink, or lavender. These tones complement mature skin beautifully without overwhelming your natural coloring. You can also accessorize with ivory-toned pieces. Bone-colored handbags, pearl earrings, or nude-toned flats all add to that sense of ease and refinement. What I love most about Ivory is that it never tries too hard. It doesn't fight for attention. It simply enhances what's already there: your skin, your hair, your grace, with quiet support. Because at this stage in life, you don't need a spotlight. You just need the right kind of light around you. And Ivory does exactly that, softly, effortlessly, and beautifully. Color 6, Lavender, softness with depth. Purple is for old ladies until you try lavender. It's a color many women over 50 have avoided for years, assuming it's too dated or too bold. But once you slip into the right shade, a soft, elegant lavender, everything changes. I remember Joyce, a client in her late 60s with striking silver hair and a closet full of beige and gray. She was hesitant when I handed her a pale lavender linen blouse. "Purple, really?" she asked with a half laugh, but she tried it on anyway. The result was immediate. Her hair shimmered, the shadows under her eyes softened. Her skin looked brighter, calmer, as if she'd just come back from a long weekend away. And more than anything, she looked serene. She turned to me and said, "I didn't expect to feel so soft." In the best way, that's what lavender does. It doesn't try to make a statement, it simply makes you the statement. It brings out the light in your skin, especially if you have cool or neutral undertones. It reflects gently, casting a soft glow across the face, brightening under the eyes, smoothing fine lines, and calming down any redness or uneven tone. And if your hair is silver, white, or even ash blonde, lavender creates the most beautiful harmony. It doesn't compete, it complements, it elevates. Lavender also carries an emotional tone. It feels peaceful, graceful, settled. It's not flashy, but it's never forgettable. It has presence without needing to prove anything. If you're ready to try lavender, start simple. Pair a lavender linen blouse with white wide-leg trousers, light, breathable, and effortlessly polished. On the weekends, reach for a lavender cotton dress. Relaxed yet refined, perfect for brunch, errands, or just feeling beautiful at home. Lavender also pairs beautifully with cream, blush pink, light gray, and washed denim for a soft, romantic palette. And don't forget to tie the look together with gentle tone-on-tone makeup. A plum or mauve lipstick in a creamy finish, never too matte, never too glossy. A hint of dusty rose or taupe blush, just enough to add life without stealing attention. Skip harsh black liner and go for soft brown or charcoal to keep the look cohesive and understated. It's not the kind of color that shouts, but it speaks clearly, especially when worn by a woman at peace with herself. It says, "I'm calm, I'm confident, and I don't need to shout to be seen." Color 7, Emerald Green, not the easiest to wear but truly unforgettable. There are colors that make people stop and look again. Emerald Green is one of them. It doesn't shout, it doesn't sparkle. But it holds power, a quiet, unmistakable kind of elegance that stays with you long after you've seen it. I remember styling a woman in her mid-60s for her daughter's wedding. Her go-to colors were usually soft and safe, taupe, navy, maybe blush on a bold day. But for this occasion, I suggested something different. A floor-length emerald dress with a simple V neckline and just the right amount of structure. She paused, smiled, and said, "It's her big day. Maybe it's time I step up too." When she walked into the ceremony, she didn't just look beautiful, she looked stunning. And later that evening, the groom, her new son-in-law, leaned in and said, "I've never seen you look more radiant." That's what emerald does. It's a color that commands presence, not through flash or drama, but through richness, depth, and confidence. It looks incredible on mature skin, especially for those with gray, silver, or salt and pepper hair. It enhances skin that may have lost a bit of its natural brightness, and adds contrast in a way that feels sophisticated, not severe. If you have hazel or deep brown eyes, emerald makes them glow. If your undertone leans neutral or cool, it gives your skin a lift without overpowering it. And with silver hair, emerald green creates contrast that feels modern, bold, and effortlessly graceful. There's also something emotionally grounded about this color. It doesn't try to make you look younger. It makes you look powerful, elegant, and very much at home in your own skin. If you're curious about how to wear emerald, here are some simple, polished combinations. A tailored emerald blazer paired with a white or ivory blouse, perfect for business, casual, or smart daytime looks. A softly structured emerald dress, especially for weddings, dinner parties, or holiday events. Choose a V-neckline or wrap silhouette for a flattering shape. Accessorize with gold jewelry, subtle hoop earrings, a chain bracelet, or a delicate pendant. Emerald pairs beautifully with warm metals. For makeup, try a berry-toned lipstick and a touch of soft bronze or taupe eyeshadow, elegant, grounded, and perfectly in sync with the richness of the color. Emerald also plays beautifully with other tones. Ivory, champagne, pale camel, soft gold all bring out the sophistication of emerald without competing with it. It's not the easiest color to wear. But once you find your piece, your blazer, your dress, your moment, it's the kind of color no one forgets. Because emerald doesn't just dress you. It reflects you, strong, refined, and ready to be seen. Color 8, Camel, the color of a woman who knows herself. There are women who don't need to say much. Camel speaks for them. They walk into a room without a dramatic entrance, but somehow everyone notices. There's a calmness, a quiet power, a presence you feel before a word is spoken. I think of Marjorie, a longtime client in her mid-60s. She never dressed to impress, yet she always looked perfectly put together. Her wardrobe, built around camel, soft sweaters, wide-leg trousers, a perfectly tailored trench coat. She wore these shades like they were made for her. And people didn't say, "What a nice outfit." They said, "You look incredible." That's what Camel does. It doesn't try to stand out, it lets you stand out. Camel, and its softer cousin, warm beige, is one of the most underrated power colors in a mature woman's wardrobe. It creates the perfect backdrop for your features, your accessories, and your energy to shine through. Where bold colors make a statement, Camel holds space. It exudes confidence not because it's loud, but because it doesn't have to be. For women over 60, Camel is especially flattering. It warms the complexion, bringing out golden undertones and softening the face. It complements gray, silver, or blonde hair beautifully, creating harmony instead of contrast. And because Camel doesn't demand attention, it allows you to add intentional highlights, a red lip, a gold earring, a printed scarf, in a way that feels elevated and refined. If you're considering Camel, here's where I'd begin. A camel knit sweater with crisp white trousers, clean, neutral, and effortlessly chic. A camel blazer or a classic trench coat, a timeless piece that elevates everything you layer underneath. And honestly, it's worth every cent. Use camel as your canvas and add depth with a bold lipstick in brick red or warm coral, gold jewelry, earrings, bangles, or a delicate chain. A patterned silk scarf in autumn tones, olive, rust, navy, or emerald. When it comes to makeup, echo the warmth of camel. A peachy blush, a soft rose bronze eyeshadow, and a creamy nude or coral lip can tie the whole look together without ever feeling overdone. It's not trying to turn heads. It just helps you walk in like you already belong. It's about letting your confidence do the talking and your wardrobe do the whispering. Because when a woman walks into the room wrapped in camel, she doesn't need to chase attention. She already has it, and that kind of presence, it's timeless. Maybe some of the colors we talked about today used to feel too young for you. But here's the truth. They're not about youth. They're about you don't need to go back to 30. You just need to step into the light that belongs to you now. Because you haven't faded, you've simply changed lighting. So here's my quiet encouragement to you. Start small. Try a scarf in a shade you've never worn before. Pick up a blouse that lifts your skin tone instead of blending into the background. Look at yourself in the mirror not to judge, but just to see. And if something shifts, even just a little, I hope you smile. Because that isn't magic. That's. Now I'd love to hear from you. Which color are you going to try this week? Let me know in the comments. Maybe it's emerald, maybe soft rose, maybe navy instead of black. Whatever it is, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to feel a little more like home when you put it on. Because beauty isn't what you chase. It's what you finally learn to see in the woman you already are. And if this video helped you feel even one step closer to that, then that's enough for today. I'm so glad you're here. And I can't wait to see you glow.